When it comes to the annals of financial history, there are very few stories that can compare to the stratospheric ascent and disastrous fall of what the media has dubbed the fake genius. The person who is at the center of this scandal was once lauded as a visionary, and he or she was able to establish a wealth on paper that was worth $30 billion, only to watch it disintegrate spectacularly. An investigation into the complex web of deception, manipulation, and hubris that constituted one of the most significant hoaxes in the history of modern times is presented in this video. This is the story of the genius. In the latter part of the 2010s, the world of technology was fascinated by the enticing promise of a startup that was on the verge of reshaping the fabric of contemporary existence. Alex Sterling, a charismatic and visionary figure whose name became synonymous with disruption, was the one in charge of the organization. In addition to transforming healthcare diagnostics and renewable energy solutions, Sterling's company boasted of groundbreaking technologies that would revolutionize a wide range of industries. The charisma that Sterling possessed was a force of nature. They were able to immediately grab the interest of the public as well as the press because of their razor-sharp humor, their aura of mystique, and their propensity for making bold assertions. Conferences were transformed into stage spectacles, exclusive interviews were made into enthralling masterclasses, and glowing features solidified the picture of a tech prodigy who was destined to join the pantheon of inventors such as Steve Jobs and Elon Musk. Investors, swept up in the excitement, immediately flocked to stake their claim in Sterling's vision, and as a result, the company received billions of dollars in capital through a series of funding rounds. The fallacy of achieving success. There was a much more worrying reality hiding beneath the sparkling facade, and that was the fact that the so-called innovative product was a fantasy. Sterling's company asserted that it had developed a proprietary device that would revolutionize the industry that it was aiming to disrupt. Yet, behind the scenes, the technology barely functioned, if it functioned at all. Keeping the illusion alive was accomplished by the careful orchestration of demonstrations, the fabrication of data, and the adoption of a culture of fear among staff. Sterling took advantage of the appearance of success to acquire ever-increasing sums of money, with each fundraising round contributing to an even greater increase in the company's stock price. The spectacle was further enhanced by lavish offices and persistent public relations activities, which gave credence to the idea that progress is unstoppable. Nevertheless, fractures were discernible to those who were ready to look for them. A veil of secrecy surrounded the departure of engineers from the corporation, which raised doubts about the culture that existed within the company. Those individuals who were courageous enough to blow the whistle were either discredited or sacked. It was accomplished with great skill to avoid independent auditors. Sterling's charisma, on the other hand, continued to serve as a potent smokescreen, a force that neutralized suspicion and persuaded stakeholders that any problems were merely transitory impediments on the path to achieving success that would change the world. A look at the functions of investors and the media. Not only did the audacity of Sterling's assertions contribute to the meteoric ascent of his company, but the blind excitement of two powerful allies, the media and investors, also played a significant role in the company's meteoric rise. Tech journalists, who were intrigued by the appeal of a tale about a disruptive genius, frequently repeated Sterling's allegations with little to no inquiry having been conducted. Sterling was portrayed as a revolutionary force in sensational headlines and glowing stories, which further amplified their mystique. Venture capitalists, who were paralyzed by the dread of missing out on the next unicorn worth $1 billion, dived headfirst into investment rounds. Even the most obvious warning signs, such as unrealistic timetables, inconsistent claims, and a lack of independent confirmation, were explained as the growing pains of innovation. Because of Sterling's charisma and self-assurance, it was simple to dismiss any concerns as the mutterings of individuals who absolutely did not get it. Endorsements from large financial institutions had the effect of giving the impression that the organization was legitimate, inadvertently sending a message to smaller investors that Sterling's concept was foolproof. Several of the major institutions in the world lent their credibility to the company by supporting its inflated valuation. The weight of these endorsements caused trust to snowball, which attracted a variety of institutional funds and individual investors who were willing to stake their futures on a promise that seemed too good to be true. A collapse occurs in the House of Cards. The tenacious pursuit of truth by a single investigative journalist was the catalyst that led to the collapse of the ancient empire. Through months of investigation, this reporter was able to unearth internal records that were in direct opposition to the assertions made by the firm to the public. Following the publication of the exposé, a chain reaction was set in motion, which resulted in regulatory bodies initiating official inquiries and the delicate veneer of success rapidly disintegrating. The cracks quickly spread as soon as they emerged for the first time. The shifting tides gave employees the confidence to come forward with evidence that may be used against them, which led to the exposure of years of systemic fraud. Notable among these findings were the fabrication of performance metrics, the staging of product demonstrations, and the existence of an authoritarian atmosphere in which criticism was suppressed through the use of threats and intimidation. It just took a few short months for the company's once astronomical valuation to drop to a level just below zero. Sterling was accused of committing securities fraud, wire fraud, and conspiracy. He had previously been praised for his innovative abilities. The subsequent trial exposed the complex machinery of lying, which included fabricated data reports, capabilities that were misrepresented, and an effort to conceal the truth that was painstakingly managed. The narrative that started out as a tale of unfettered ambition turned out to be a cautionary tale about hubris, mistaken trust, and the repercussions of placing more importance on narrative than content. The repercussions of the event. The fall of Sterling's empire left a path of ruin in its wake with its aftermath. The loss of thousands of jobs, the depletion of pension funds, and the disappearance of ordinary investors' life savings were all consequences of the financial crisis. Additionally, the incident caused a decline in trust in the IT sector, which resulted in requests for more stringent laws and control. Sterling, who was once acclaimed as a genius, is now being used as an example to teach lessons. A sentence of decades in prison was handed down to them, and their name will forever be associated with avarice and dishonesty. Important life lessons. The narrative of the fake genius brings to light the perils of possessing unbridled ambition and placing unquestioning faith in charismatic leaders. It highlights the significance of conducting due diligence, adhering to ethical principles, and maintaining regulatory monitoring in order to avert scandals of a similar nature in the future. Insights to consider. 1. Be wary of charisma. A charismatic leader can motivate others, but they also can mislead. There is no time when charisma can take the place of accountability and facts. 2. Perform a thorough examination of the claims. Big assertions call for bold evidence. It is essential to conduct independent verification, particularly for developments in cutting-edge technology. Employees who speak up against injustice should be protected, not silenced. Employees who blow the whistle on wrongdoing should be encouraged to do so. Enhance oversight. Regulatory authorities should be given the authority to conduct comprehensive investigations of businesses before they reach a point where they are too large to fail. Concluding remarks, it is a frightening reminder of the vulnerabilities that exist in our financial and technical ecosystems that the fake genius was responsible for orchestrating a fraud that was worth $30 billion. While we are in awe of innovation, we must not lose sight of the fact that some take advantage of its attraction for their selfish gain. It is only via the process of gaining knowledge from controversies of this nature that we can establish a future in which honesty and inventiveness coexist. Enjoyed the content? Don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave a comment to share your thoughts and keep the conversation going. Your support means the world.